Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first episode of my Eurovision 2025 song reviews, the series where I'll be listening to the Eurovision songs and basically just sharing my thoughts on them as we go along and listen to them. The first one that will be reviewed today is the one from Montenegro, which is called Dobrodošli by Nina Žižić. This is of course a song that I have heard because if you haven't been around the channel, or if you don't know, I was live streaming the Monte song final when this song actually did not win. I'm sure most of you are already familiar with the controversy regarding that, but as it stands right now, this seems to be the song that will represent Montenegro in Eurovision, and that means that it's the one that I will be listening to and reviewing in today's video. So I will also just mention that I will probably be pausing a little bit throughout the song, maybe jumping around a little bit, so hopefully you don't mind that. Since I've already heard the song before, I don't think I really need to listen to it in its entirety. Mainly, I will just talk about the sections that I feel like I have to say something about. So hopefully you don't mind that. If you do, watch another review of the song, I suppose, by someone else. Regardless, let's start listening to it. So what this song starts off with is actually quite nice. I do really like this arpeggio line on the piano, which I think is very kind of strong in emphasizing the sentimentality that the song wants to have. The piano line really opens the song. The song relies a lot on piano throughout, and it's quite an emotionally loaded ballad at its core. Still got the arpeggio very much faded in the background now as the vocal has come in. And what I really like about this arpeggio line, we'll just listen to it very, very briefly here, because it's very much emphasizing the kind of sad tone of the song by playing the minor 6. Because it's basically an arpeggio line of the 1-6-5. So if you just listen to it here as it comes in, we'll get it here. The 1-6-5, 1-6-5, 1-6-5, 1-6-5, and it's really that 6 that's kind of emphasizing why this is so sad, I suppose, because it's the minor note of the scale there, and it's just kind of a nice little interval on that arpeggio line, which I think is kind of helping the song really be as emotionally loaded as it wants to be. It's a very nice opening. I feel there's kind of like a vulnerability, a hollow tone of it, and the vocal feels quite characteristic in the middle of it as well. The vocal will of course be even more characteristic as we go along. We keep listening to the song. The chord interval we got here is actually quite an intriguing one. I really like this fourth chord, which is the major 5. It's kind of contrasting the key that we're in. What it is, it's the minor 1, major 6. Here comes the minor 4, minor 4, and the final chord coming in here, major 5. It's a nice elevation. It's kind of an unexpected chord change there, which kind of feels refreshing in here. Now the rest of the instrumentation that comes in here feels more, I guess, authentic, natural. I don't think the forcefulness of it is really there to kind of compel me. I feel like mainly, if you listen to the drumming, it's a little bit of like a weak or a very soft kind of drum sound to it, I suppose, which I'm a little bit disappointed by. It feels also like every time this drums really hit in this particular part of the song in its soundstage, everything else is just kind of moving out of it. It's like the sidechaining has just been so heavily processed that you don't really feel like you're emphasizing the actual drive of the song in this section with the instrumentation. Just listen to how, I mean, the strings come in here as well. The strings are very, very fading gradually in a very slow manner, which I find to be quite interesting. Because the attack on them is so slow, they're just gradually... Okay, now we're evolving them. It's also quite interesting, like, when they're louder in volume, they go in the right ear, and then they rescind, left ear. Also this melody line, the Dobrodošli. So melodically, this song, I don't find it to be super memorable or super engaging, and I think, like, it has this kind of catchy Dobrodošli line where every syllable is really on the beat. However, that could be a bit maybe predictable and uninteresting as well. If you listen to it here, we're obviously in a very slow tempo, so we've got the... Here it comes, like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Spot on the beat with every syllable. I mean, it is a little bit memorable in terms of catchiness, but The song doesn't really have like a lot of rhythmic flexibility in terms of its melody, I suppose. Now is probably where kind of the song kicks into a gear, coming up here. Instrumental section takes over. And I also really like one thing here, that she's using her voice as like an additional instrumental input here. There really aren't any lyrics here to contribute anything. It's really just kind of enhancing the instrumentation with a vocal as well, which is quite nice. Also, notice how the percussion has turned digital in this part. Very crisp, very distinct, kind of a dynamic approach in this percussion. I don't think it's particularly mixed perfectly into here. I don't think it fits as naturally as it probably wants to be. There's maybe a little bit too much resonance on these actual percussive impacts, which I'm a bit skeptical towards. However, it's probably a nitpick. It's kind of nice that the ambition is there, though, to freshen up the actual arrangement here. As the song progresses, it expands and goes grander. Instrumentation goes very grand here. Vocal is very sparse, but adds a lot of character in here. I think this is a very rewarding section of the song. It's mainly due to how grand the instrumentation has become here. We mainly like how the brass is being incorporated here. And the song finishes off with some nice syncopation, which I think is quite nice. Arpeggio comes back in. We kind of go full circle here, slowing the tempo down for the very ending. And a heavily reverbed spoken word section to very much finish off the song. There's also kind of a nice little detail throughout the song in the opening and at the very end there. You can kind of hear, we'll go back to the start, and you hear this kind of heartbeat. It's very subtle, but it's in the back there. Kind of a rhythmic little device there to add something into it. And I really like how the final chorus, when the chorus kind of ends, if I wasn't mistaken anyway, we get this heartbeat coming back in, don't we? After the syncopation. There it is. I heard it again there. And now it's dead, I suppose. But it's kind of like a nice little idea to kind of just keep that as a constant that comes back at the very end of the song. Now, overall, what I really think, probably like the strengths of it, I'll take these off just briefly. I think that this song has a lot of very clever ideas in actually establishing an emotional core and something quite hard-hitting. I think the arpeggio line is very effective. It's nicely arranged to kind of mainly like start the song off. I really like this opening of basically just using the piano. Also quite a nice little harmonic piano line there. Very heavily reverb, but it's just kind of creates some contrast early on before the vocal comes in. Also the chord progression, it's nice. It's the same really throughout the whole song, which isn't particularly interesting, but I really like the major 5 chord. I think that makes it stand out a little bit. Other than that, I think vocally it's a song that really Nina here is carrying forward, and she's pushing it. The instrumentation that comes in for the first kind of, I guess it would be the second verse because it's after the first chorus. I am disappointed by it because I don't think it really has that drive and energy that I think this song kind of requires to push itself forward. The more digital kind of percussion that it's using later on in the song, I think that's a better fit for this track. It's not particularly like the sound design on this percussion isn't really up my alley. I can kind of really enjoy these dynamic and very crisp and packed with clarity percussive sounds, but I don't think they've been incorporated into this mix as well as they probably should have, at least in my book. What really sells the song though is obviously like when the instrumentation goes grander, you feel like it's really becoming this kind of emphatic and powerful ballad, especially when the brass kicks in and it just elevates the song. It's a very rewarding kind of final chorus, I think, and the fact that the vocal is so sparse here as well kind of emphasizes just how effective the instrumental has gotten here. Progressively, it's kind of predictable in terms of it's actually expanding the way it is, but I feel like it's doing everything in a very effortless and effective manner. I really like this whole section where the instrumental is really the main thing. We'll take a listen to it again, because obviously the vocal lines have lyrics in here with the Dobrodošli line. Nice elevation here, by the way, on the melody. But what's coming in now? And how the vocal here is really just used as a separate instrument. She's not providing any lyrics or any storytelling in this part of the song. The vocal is used as an additional instrument, and that makes the instrumentation feel even grander. Whether you want to consider the vocal to be a part of the instrumentation here, that's up to you. But I think the way she's using it, it's quite neat because it actually develops the song forward. And then as it progresses, this vocal goes into actually being lyrics again, but very sparse ones. Let's see when they get in here. Brass comes in here. It's really effective. Sparse vocal, just a few words. And also one thing they do here is that they're kind of being a bit rhythmically flexible. They're just kind of free-flowing. They're not set to a framework, and they're not forcing themselves onto the beat here, which is also quite nice. It makes it feel a little bit lively there, and quite characteristic, really, and packed with a little bit of personality to it as well. It's a nice song altogether. I don't have many complaints to it. Maybe I just find that melodically, maybe the song isn't really up my alley. I don't think it has that superbly memorable concept about it, which kind of holds back my enjoyment for it as well. I think production-wise, the song has a little bit of work to be done as well. I don't think the percussion at either of the styles really is utilized effectively into this mix. But overall, it's quite a pleasant listen, I'd say, and I feel the drama and the emotional impact of it as I listen to it. It's just that it's not all the way there for me personally. However, of course, I also want to know what you think of this song, so please let me know in the comments what you think of this song. And if you have any other thoughts or opinions about the song that I haven't mentioned or that I'm completely wrong about, please let me know. Regardless, I'm kind of excited to see how this one will perform, of course, in Eurovision now that Montenegro is back after a little bit of a break. Of course, I will listen to the Albanian song coming up next. Of course, that's a song that I also already know. However, it will be interesting to really review that one as well, so hopefully you'll stick around on the channel to watch me do that very, very shortly. However, thank you so much for watching this video today. Hope you'll have a great one until I hopefully see you again very, very soon. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.